So in this instructional video, I'm going to give you some of the basic tools that we use in Diigo, at least how to get around the toolbar issue if you're not able to install the toolbar feature, and how to use what's called a diigolet, I believe is what it's called. But we're going to go ahead and go into Diigo through the NetVibes homepage. There's a link here which brings up a new tab. And you can see I'm already logged in, but if you weren't logged in, you could actually, I'll give you an example how to sign back in. Just signing in using your username and ID. And here it's, there it is. 1 second. Which brings you to your home page. Here it gives you recent bookmarks and member activity. But what you want to do, if this is your computer and you have administrative rights to install the Diigo bar or Diigo toolbar, you can just click on Diigo toolbar, click on install. We can click allow here, and it just goes through all that installation information, which will actually have you close out of Firefox and come bring it back up. But what happens, and since I already have it installed, I just disabled it so you can see what it will actually look like. But under your add-ons, under tools, if I enable Diigo bar, it's going to ask me to Diigo toolbar. It's going to ask me to restart, and then when it does, it's actually going to come up with my toolbar up here at the top. So as I'm browsing here, I'm going to go to a search page, which I often use Google. I'm going to type in bean leaf beetle. You can see I've already done this as an example before, trying to do the actual video. I can go do a search. I can find a page that I find is interesting, and you can see here I've already made a comment. As long as that toolbar is up here, any page that you load where there's comments associated with it, and it's highlighted, you can actually add additional information or view what other people have commented on. But that's only available for every single page that you load as long as you have this toolbar installed. Again, you can highlight text. You can right-click and go to highlight it. And here I'll do an undo or just Control Z. Actually, you can just delete it. The other option is to highlight and then go up to your toolbar here, or select, I'm sorry, and then come up to highlight. It actually highlights that area. You can add a sticky note, and here we're going to make it to the group. And I'm just going to give this as an example. So then we click OK, and now it comes up with my comments or text associated with this particular sticky note. So every time I go over that highlighted text, it comes up with a list of quotes or comments here. So that's if the toolbar is installed. And then I can keep searching. I can either go back and then find another page, find things that work, things that don't work, and start commenting and contributing text or bookmarks to Diigo. So that's if the toolbar is installed. So let's say the toolbar is not installed, and for this case I'm actually going to shut it off or disable it. And it's going to ask me to restart because that's what Firefox does. So we'll give it a second here. But what we're going to do is I'm going to show you another option to use Diigo. Now, if you don't use this option, it's not that user-friendly. I know some people have been having problems with it, and I apologize for that. I thought that was a feature that worked whenever you were logged into it, but that's not the case. So if we actually go, I'm going to delete that because I want to show you how to install it. But right now, if we go back to the previous page where we had highlighted text, you notice that this is no longer visible. I can't see the comments because the Diigo toolbar is not installed. But there's a way around this. So if we go back to, I'm going to close out of this just to go back to our Diigo. So if we kind of start over and go back to Diigo, you can see I'm already logged in. But if you go to My Diigo Tools and then go to what's called Diigolet, it then allows you to drop in little bookmarks, which doesn't install anything, so that way you don't have to have administrative privileges. Easy for me to say, but you can just click and drag it right to your toolbar. So I'm clicking and dragging, and I can put it anywhere up here. Now this comes up with a little bookmark called Diigolet. So now the cool feature about this is now if I go do my search, let's use the same example of bean leaf beetle. Go to that same page where it wasn't present, and look, it's still not present. But if we click on the diigolet and we want to comment on it, now that feature is available, where we can see that this has been highlighted, and then we can also go in and add our own sticky note, make it visible to the group, and then we can click submit. So now that anytime we scroll over this, we see not as much information as the toolbar, or not as fancy, it doesn't have the icon and all that stuff, or profile picture, sorry. What you do have is any other comments that were visible on this page. And so you can now bookmark, highlight, and do all this relatively easily within the page just by simply clicking on that diigolet. So let's go to a page where we haven't added any text. Let's use this next one, beanleaf beetles in home gardens. Let's see, it's an occasional pest of snap beans. So maybe we were interested in that bit of information. Notice that the Diigo bar is not here until I click diigolet. Now I can bookmark this page. I can say, I can change the description, or I can highlight what I think is important in that page, and that will automatically be the description. I can add tags associated with it. And I really encourage you to put as many tags possible as many tags as you think that would be informative for that page. Let's see, finish that thought. Share to the group. Again, make sure that you share to the enttom612, and then we're going to save that bookmark. But then we're also going to practice highlighting here and just say, click highlight. Now that highlight feature is there, but we can also go in and add a sticky note. I can't talk and type at the same time. So we click submit, and now we can have text or comment associated with that link. So say we're going in here, we want to kind of browse through the site. Notice that every time I go to a new page, that toolbar is no longer there. But if I click on diigolet, it is there. So this is just one way you can kind of get around not being able to have that toolbar, which is, in my opinion, is a lot better to have. But if you can't have it, this is the second best option to make this Diigo a little bit more user-friendly. Again, if you have any questions about this, feel free to send me a message, email, or whatever, and I'd be happy to help out.